Okay. So just in terms of where we should be holding, everyone should be well into Siman Tov Lamed Gimel. We're going to, Be'ez Hashem, by next week, ready to be finishing Siman Tov Lamed Gimel. Chutz from the sugya we're going to discuss today, which is the beginning of Tov Lamed Gimel, Iker Shoyrish of the Chiyuv Bedika. That leaves us with the sugya of Makom Shemachnisin and the sugya of Mapoilis. There's not too many Marmakoimis here in the Mapoilis, but as you go along, you'll see there are quite a few Marmakoimis. There's a sugya there, so that'll take a few days. And by the end of next week, we'll already hopefully be starting Tov Lamed Vav. We're going to go feed the Seder of these Marmakoimis. Tov Lamed Vav is Yotzi Mebeisai by Yotzi L'Shiar. Okay. So, Azaleh. Tov Lamed Gimel, Dinei, Bedikas Chometz. So, before we start getting into some of the pratim of the shorish of Bedikas Chometz, and some of the dinim that are discussed here in the beginning of the Siman and the end of the Siman, Sifir Aleph, the Chumas Hadeshin, being makdim your Bedika before Lal Yud Gimel, before Lal Yud Daled to Lal Yud Gimel, to be makdim Mechelik your Bedika, or Haner, Achsadra. So I want to just speak out again a little bit what we already saw, the Machlokes Rashi Tosfos, the Iker Shorish of the Chovos Bedika, and we'll see as we go along that some of these dinim are totally in the two Darkei Havana of Rashi and Tosfos and the Shorish of the Chiyuv Bedika. And who I did Lagabe Din that I was going to sign a little bit on everyone saw at the end of Tov Lamed Beis, the famous din of the Ramah, to leave petitin, to leave some pieces of chametz around before you do a bedika, so it shouldn't be a chash bracha levatala. And the Ramah himself is machriya that it's not a problem. That's a machlokes rishonim. So as we'll see, that also could be told in these two darkei havanos. So what are we referring to? So Ma'aseh before in the Mishnah Daf Beis, or larbasa boikin sachametz or haner. So the rishonim point out that basically we see from the hemshich of the Gemaras and Daf Daled and Daf Vav that there's an Isser Ba'yirah Ba'yimatzeh. For that Isser Ba'yirah Ba'yimatzeh, so there's a Mitzvas Tashbisu. When you have Chometz, what to do with it? That's the Mishnah in the beginning of Kol Shah. Is the Machlokes Tanoim, whether you have to burn your Chometz, when you have to burn your Chometz, the Yehuda before the Zman Isser, after the Zman Isser. And, or Lefi the Rabbanon, Hashbasas B'chol Davar, you can be Zorim Fire Zer L'Ruach. That's the etzem destruction of the Chometz. In order to not be over by Yerah by Yimatzeh, there are other ways other than destroying your chametz, and that's what's mavur in the Gemara in Daf Daled and Beis, that bebitul ba'al masagi. The Gemara is mavur that aside from destroying chametz, you can also be mevatel your chametz, and then midaraisa sagi means at least l'kuli alma you're not going to be over on the Isser by Yerah by Yimatzeh because you don't have chametz to be over on. By Yerah by Yimatzeh is that you shouldn't have in your rishus. And we'll see exactly the gedarim of your rishus. That's the hemshich of the sugyas. What does it mean in your rishus? But not to have in your rishus B'chlalius chametz, as long as you're mafker all your chametz, as long as you're mevatel all your chametz, you're not over by Yerah. That's another big sugya, which we will get into in the Hemshech and Daf Daled. What is bittul? Is bittul hefker? Is bittul hashpas b'leiv, that you're machshir like offer? And memela, depending on how you learn the nature of bittul, is also a shayla whether bittul itself could be a kiyum of mitzvahs tashbisu. That Lefi Rashi it's mashma that not only are you taking care of the problem, that you're not going to be over a lav deraisa of owning chametz on Pesach, but there's actually a kiyum of mitzvahs esef tashbisa, and we'll see in the hemshech of the sugyas Tov Lamed Daled. It's already a few more simanim. We're going to come back to Tov Lamed Daled, even though it's the next one in the order. We're skipping it for now. We're going to come back to Dinei Bittul. And Maisa, Tosfos is mavur l'mashal that you're not makayim mitzvahs tashbisu, but l'maisa. So what does it mean bebittul ba'alma sagi? B'deraisa bebittul sagi. It means that you're not going to be over a lav ba'yirah, but you weren't makayim your mitzvah. So it could be there's two things. There's a mitzvah tashbisu, which is mitzvah kiyumas. We'll see that's a famous minchas yitzuk. Not Minchas Yitzchak, Minchas Chinuch in Siman Tes, about the Gedorim of Mitzvahs Tashbisu, but B'chol Oifen, there's a Machlokes Rishonim. Fine. So what happens is, Lefi Kol Hadeis, is that L'maisa, once you do Bittul, you're finished. You have no problem by Yerah. That's Mitzad Echad. Mitzad Sheni, the Gemara tells us, on Daf Vav and Beis, that Haboidek, it's Tzarech Sheivatel. That even if you do a Bedikas Chometz, we don't rely on that. The Maskanas HaSugya is, because L'maisa Bedika, by a human, sometimes misses a nice Guski Yafeh. So since you might find the Guski Yafeh, says the Gemara, you can just be mevatel it right now. Gemara says you're going to find it on Pesach, either on Pesach or after Zman Isser. After Zman Isser, that's the Gemara in Daf Vav and Beis, Daf Zayin. You can't be mevatel chametz after Zman Isser, because the Torah takes it out of your shus and just is machnes it back into your shus just to be over, but you can't be mevatel chametz at that point. So what comes out, if we just push and make a cheshbon, this is basically what all the Rishonim and Daf Beis are doing. We have a din of Bayira Bayimatzi. We have a Mitzvahs Tashbisu. Whether or not you Makayim Mitzvahs Tashbisu with Bittul is not clear. But Lamais, you're not over Bayira. And the Gemara tells us that even if you go and you do a Bedika, that's not enough. You have to be Mevatel. So Bittul works. Bedika does not work. In First Gemara and Daf Vav, everyone agrees to that. That's Rav Shita. So what is the purpose of Bedika? That's the basic Shaila. If you make a cheshbon with all these Hanachas, that there's an Isser Ba'yira, there's a Mitzvah Tashbisu, Bittul takes care of your problem, Bedika does not, that's left with the question. Why? Why? What is the purpose of this takana? What was it for? So Rashi very famously says, she's not going to be over Ba'yira Bayimatzi. And that's what all the Rishonim jump on Rashi, that's the biggest pella, because like we said, from all the other Gemaras is Mavur, that the Bittul is what's going to take care of that. So like we all saw, this is the big Arichus in the Ran, just Bekitzer, that the Ran tells us that Be'emes is such a musik of Bedika min HaTorah. Just like the Gemara tells us in Davdala that Bittul takes care of Ba'yira by itself. Min HaTorah, Bittul, either is a Kim of Tashbisu, or it's just the Hefker and takes care of Ba'yira. Lamais, it takes care of your problem min HaTorah of Ba'yira, Hu Hadin, Bedika could do the same thing. And that's what Rashi means of the Ran. That Al Yidei, Bedikas Chometz Alei, you're not mevatel anything, you're not mafker anything, any Chometz you have you want and you own. But Lamais, you go and you search and you look for any Chometz you have in order that when you find that Chometz, you take get rid of it, Kedasu Kedin, you burn it. So that's enough. And the Ran says, Saimchan al Chazakus, that the Torah says, the Torah told you that there's an Isser of Chometz, and Lefi the Ran, many Rishonim, even Chometz she'eni yadua. Since your house is a place that it's motzei to have Chometz, so you're mechuyev to go be mechapes acharov to the best of your abilities. Once you did that, there's no more Ba'yira.
Even if you're Yoshev and Mitzapeh, Halavai is down on something?
Listen, that might be Megareah from the Eichus of your Bedika, but if it's not Megareah the Eichus of your Bedika, I don't know, you're not Yosh Mitzapeh, you're doing your best, but it's not a feeling, it's not Hashpasa B'Leiv, that's clear. So you're right, that's Reb Chaim was telling you that maybe there is some kind of intrinsic Lasa de Bittel when you're going to be Boide, because you're looking for it to destroy it. But Lamaisa is, I'm not sure. Lamaisa is there's no bittul Lamaisa. There's no hashpas belief. There's no hefker. And Lamaisa kim techos. Like let's say Lamashal, we'd say in Afkamina that if someone after you did a bedika, lefi this ran, someone would find chametz. Let's say you did your bedika arba basar before his manisser. So that chametz is still yours. He can't take it. Mashenkin, if you did a bittul, so assuming bittul is hefker, so then someone would be allowed to take it. That's still another shayla when the bittul is chal. It's chal right away. Fine. So that is, so Mela, that's what Rashi means. And the Ran goes so far as to say that there's such a shita that even the Maisa Bedikas is enough. You don't need Bittul B'chal. That's the Tana de Masnisim. The Tana of Unzer Mishnah holds, Bedikas is enough. You don't need Bittul. And then Rashi's Mamish Kipshuta, that you need Bedika Kadesh L'Yav, or Ba'yir because there's no Bittul involved B'chal. Fine. So that's not Halacha L'Maisa, because that's like the Ran points out. That's the sheet of the Tana of Unzer Mishnah. But on Davav, when Rav said that Haboidik Sarch Shevatel, that was Nochat HaKana, that even though you're doing Bedik, you also need Bittul. Now that's obviously how we pass in Halacha L'Maisa. So the Mefarshim Mishnayos point out that the Das Rashi, even if you learn Rashi Halacha L'Maisa, that the Mishnah is talking not like the Ran that there's a sheet that you can do Bedika without Bittul. Bedika is with Bittul, but Afal Pikein it's still Milasa D'Vayira Bayimatze. Why? So the Rav and the Tesiyontif on the Mishnayos say different Mahalchim. But L'Maisa there's a questionable. We could put into question a person's Bittul just like we could put into question his Bedika. Just like the Gemara says Bedika is not enough. You might find the Gluska Yafeh. So who adin lagabe Bittul? Like the Ran already points out, Bittul after all something to Tali B'Leiv, the Bartanur, Tesiyontif, you might find the Gluska Yafeh after your Bittul and be Mischaret and not really have meant it 100%, or at least Mikan al Haba, not mean your Bittul. And the Mela, there's different Pikpukim and Chashashas on Bittul as well. So even though a person did a Bittul, and the Bittul, with the Raisa of a Bittul Ba'am Masagi, it's not enough, and you also need a Bedika. And that's the nice what's before in Taisus and Daf Yud. Because Taisus and Daf Yud points out that Shitas Rashi is that after Pesach, it's not Shaykh Bedikas Chometz, it's a Chiv Bedika for Chometz Shavuot Pesach. And that's, that Rashi is going lahalacha l'chayra, that even though there was a bittul. So even though there was a bittul, you see in Rashi and Daf Yud, that there was a bittul, there's no Ba'yira. And Afal Pikein, it's not Shaykh Bedika, because Bedika is only some kind of last of the Ba'yira. Whether it's Midrabanim, whether it's Midraisa, but the Maisa, even though you're Mavatal, there's some kind of pickbook, and that's Shitas Rashi in Bedika. That Bishar Shoy, and Enes is the Ran is Mavur, that's also a kiyum of Tashbisu. Just like Lefi the Ran and many Rishonim, Bittul is a kiyum of Tashbisu, like Rashi says in Naftal, Tashvasa B'Leiv. So when the Torah says Tashbisu, maybe La'achar Zman Isser, Lefi Rabbi Yudi, you have to go and you have to burn it Mamish B'Sreifa, or Mefayar B'Zer Lurach. But before Zman Isuroi, as long as you take your Chometz, and you're Mavatal it, whatever Bittul is, Lefi those Rishonim, or you're Beidik after your Chometz, and you're machzik your house as a place that's naki mechametz, these two oifanim are kiyumim of mitzvahs tashbisu l'fi the Ran. So that's the shorish of mitzvahs bedika l'fi Rashi. It's b'shorsha deraisa. And like we're pointing out, the pashtus in Rashi is that even if b'foil you did a bittul, or you're going to do a bittul, Bama says we do bedika before a bittul, right? After our bedika we do our first bittul chametz. But l'maisa, even if you have a bittul to take away the bayira, the shorish chi of bedika is still a bedika which could take care of a bayira, could be a kiyum mitzvah tashbisu, and is only when it's shaykh a bayira or bayimat. That's all she does Rashi. Tosfos Kayadua is chaylik on this whole thing, and Kanireh, what she says is that there's no shaykhs, that bedika, you need bittul. Bittul is the only thing that takes care of bayira. It happens to be, it could be Tosfos Lashita, so we'll see in the Hemshech. Tosfos holds bittul is also not a kiyum tashbisu. Tosfos holds that it just takes care of your problem. You have a problem with bayira. So if you're mafkir your chametz, you're not going to have that problem. There's no kiyum of tashbisu. Tosfos says in Daf and Beis, tashbisu means burning, destroying, befoil. Bittul is an eitzah, but that's all. It's just an eitzah. So Tosfos Lashitasa says that there's one way to get rid of your chametz, either destroying it or being mevatel it. Chutz mizeh, there's no need for bedika. So Tosfos be'emes learns that bedika is a whole new takana derabbanan. It has nothing to do with tashbisu. It has nothing to do with bayir bayimatze. It doesn't have l'chayr lefi Tosfos. It wouldn't even help for your bayir bayimatze. The only thing it is a b'zunder chash. Why? So Tosfos makes up an idea. Maybe you're going to eat it. By Shari Surah, I know we don't have such an issue. So Tosfos starts saying, Shtikl Torah. There's a Gzeira, Derabbanon, that you might eat chametz. Because we're very used to eating chametz and not badal mina. Or Tosfos says, because there's a chaymer of Balira on chametz, so we're very machmer, to make sure that you make a special siyag that you shouldn't come to eat it. But Lefi Tosfos, it's a Bezundera Takana B'Derabbanon. And the Maisa, we could be Moisif, is also a Shtikl Shaila, which is Rashi Prakim. Then on Daf Chaf Aleph, Tosfos Shita Chayra is, what many Achronim say, is that Lefi Tosfos, bedika can't be a musik deraisa, because if you hold that Shitas Tosfos is like it's mashma, that on Chometz she'einu yadua, a person who doesn't do any bedika, but as far as he knows he doesn't have Chometz, it's Chometz she'einu yadua, that it's kayim where it is, so then you're not over by yirah. We're saying Lefi the Ran, Lefi Rashi, bedika is deraisa, meaning if you don't do bedika means chipos, means you're looking for it, you don't know its existence, and afal pikin, if you don't do that bedika, you can be over this deraisa by yirah on Chometz she'einu yadua. If you hold that chametz you're not over on, so then it's not shaykh a musik that the Torah is mechay bedika. Bedika by its very nature is looking for something you don't know about. If the Torah says if you don't know about it, it's fine. That's min Torah. That's the pashas of Tosfos and Daf Chaf Aleph. It's a shtickle machlokes achronim over there, and so memela, not mufurish. That's the assumption of the Ran. L'maisa, there are achronim we'll see in Daf Dal, Daf Vav. There are. I'm assuming now if you darker shal Ran that bedika is deraisa, that it's only because chametz you do is now. So that's why it could be Lefi Tosfos, if you do a ganze bedika, no bittul, and then you find out that you had chametz, so Laisa, kol oid it's chametz shein you do, you're okay. But once you find it and you know about it, so that's what Tosfos is a little bit mashman dafov, you're going to be over miyad. Bedika is be'etzem not an eitzah. It's not a tzoyrich mitzad echad, because chametz shein you do, you're not over on anyway. And it's not an eitzah, meidach chisa. We have no indication from the Torah that by doing bedika you take care of anything. There's nothing to take care of and it won't take care of anything. So Lefi Shitas Tosfos, it's a bezunder gzeira of Shema Yavel Achloi, to which Tosfos has two hesbeirim, either because of we're not badal mine, it's chametz, or because it's chamer. Now in Daf Chaf Aleph, Tosfos brings a raya. Just lasaber so oizim, the two shitas. Tosfos brings a raya. The Gemara in Daf Vav that we all saw, Vav and Beis, Abayzik Tzarich Shevatel. Gemara says if you do bedika, you have to also do bittul. So the Gemara, why? You'll find the gluska, so what? When you find it, you'll be mevatel. So Tosfos says, what do you mean, when you find it, you'll be mevatel? What about for the last 3 days of Pesach that you didn't find it, and you're over by Yirah? So Tosfos says, Mikan Raya, that there's no by Yirah on Chametz Sheni Yadu. Because how could the Gemara say you'll be mevatel when you find it? That's a joke, you were over for 3 days by Yirah. So that's Tosfos Raya. Now, Lefi Darkeinu, it's very muvan. Lefi the Ran, you did Bedika. HaBoidek, Tzarech Shevatel, Gemara says. So when you find that you'll be mevatel it, Lefi the Ran, it's not because you were over on Bal Yirah, not because there's no Bal Yirah on Chametz Sheni Yadu, but because you did a bedika, the bedika gives you some kind of chazakas, and male, you're not over Bal Yirah. Ula Mashal, the Tosfos HaRosh over there, chaps on both Chometz. Tosfos HaRosh holds you're over on Chametz Sheni Yadu, and he also holds that the bedika doesn't save you for Bal Yirah, so you get stuck in that Gemara. Yeah. If you hold like the Chumrah both shitas, like Rashi and Tosfos, meaning you're over on Chametz Sheni Yadu, but Bedikas is not a kiyum deraisa of tashbisu. Bedika doesn't take care of Bal Yirah. So then Tosfos Rosh gets stuck. The Gemara says, why? You'll find the gluska. Frak the Gemara, you find the gluska, so what? When you find it, you vatal it. Frak the Rosh, what do you mean? You've been over for the last 3 days. So the Tosfos Rosh Taka gets stuck on that question. And he says, Enechanami. The Gemara could have said that. The Gemara could have very easily answered, yeah, what do you mean? You're going to be vatal when you find it? You've been over for the last 3 days. But it's there, it's only Shiggas Lav. You were Bemis over. You were over for the last 3 days, and the Gemara is just finding a better taina than that. The Gemara could have said you're over for the last 3 days on Bal Yirah B'Shoigeg. The Gemara says Nach Besser. It's going to be after Zman Isser, and you're going to be over even B'Mezid, because you're going to know about the Chometz. Ayin Shal. So, that's because the Rosh chapped on the Chumrah of both these Shitas. But Al Kapanim, that's the basic Machloikis that we find in Rashi Tosfos, is the Shorish of Bedikas Chometz, Be'etzem, Milaso, the Bal Yirah, and Mitzvas Tashpisu, and Biur Chometz, and Treifas Chometz, and Bal Yirah, or like Tosfos, that is no shaykhs. Bedikas for Chometz She'eni Yadua, which Bechlal you're not over on anyway. It has nothing to do with Tashpisu, it has nothing to do with Bal Yirah. One part of the thing, a new Gzeir D'Rabbanan, a new Takana D'Rabbanan. We don't want you to find the piece of bread that you're so used to eating in your pantry and eat it on Pesach and be over on Bal Yirah, so it's a Gzeir D'Rabbanan.
So the Russian first, not like the Ran, you haven't created this out.
Because he's bad. I mean, he's going on the Gemara Daf Vav, Av Boidik, and Af Pekin, he's... Okay. So that's B'Teres Hakdama. Now, at the end of Sim Tov Lamed Beis, Tov Lamed Beis Be'etzem, the din of making a bracha that we make by Bedikas Chometz. Asher Kedishanu B'Setzona Al Bir Chometz. The Nusach is Al Bir Chometz, which is a discussion already in the Rishonim. The Rosh and Simon Yud says, why would we make a bracha of Al Bir Chometz if we're doing Bedikas Chometz? So there's a lot of different terutzim to that question. The Rosh himself says the Bedika is only the beginning, and we're finishing. You do your Bedika, you gather together your chametz, your mavatal your chametz, your matzniya your chametz, and then by shachamishas you go and you burn your chametz. So it's a tahalich. As Bach says, what the Goin says, as we'll see, and the Melo, that's why it's in the Nusach Al Bir Chometz. So the Ramah brings at the end of Tov Lamed Beis, the noyagim lehoniach psisei chametz b'makom shimtzaim haboidek, k'dei shelo yehei birchas levatal. The Ramah quotes from some Rishonim that you have to leave pieces around the house, because what's going to happen? You make a bracha al bir chametz, you can go around your house is going to be clean, it's not going to be any chametz. The bracha levatal. The Ramah's machriya umihu im loinasan lo yikev. The Ramah says it as if it's a lachatchila and it's not ma'akev. The poskim will point out, Mr. Brewer included, that's really two shitas. There's one shita in Rishonim that if you're you cannot make a, you can't make a bracha about bir chametz if there's a chashash, you might not find anything. It's going to be a bracha vatal. There's another shita that no. What's the other shita? So the Mishnah Berurah explains the pashtus. In kain chashash bracha vatal. The kain hu mitzvah lived like a chametz ulachapis achrav shem yimtza. Im lo yimtza im bekach klum. Because that's the mitzvah. The mitzvah is to be boidik. That's the two shitas in Rishon.
But the mitzvah is to be boidik achar safek chametz. If I did a proper kibbud, then there is no safek chametz anymore, is there?
Well, we're going to get to the Trum Sedeshin. Kipshuta v'ker. Even noch a kibbud, a good cleaning, there still is a chash chametz, gumus, unless you did a bedika or you did what we'll get to bismanina. It's one of the shas I want to discuss halacha ma'isa. And today, not only do we do a kibbud, like it seems like the Trum Sedeshin was discussing, that they did a nice sweeping, but we actually go and menaker the whole bias for 3 weeks and until it's, so that's a good question. That might just make your house a place where it's muchzik, there's no chametz, that might be a kiyum of bedikas. We'll have to get into that. Now, so what is, do we know Shitas Rashi on this matter? The Rambam is quoting later Ashkenazi Rishonim, so it's Kolboy. So what is Shitas Rashi about Hanochas Petitin? So it's very interesting. That is in the Shibbolei Haleket, Siman Reish Vav. Shibbolei Haleket says that Rashi is from the Machmirim, but with a kunz. Rashi was not Menich Petitin. Shibbolei Haleket says that Rashi didn't make a bracha on Bedikas Chometz. At least at the beginning of Bedikas Chometz. Rashi started Bedikas Chometz. Since he has a Sefer Isser V'Heter Shal Rashi, that Rashi had Piskei Halachas. Rashi's Minig Rabbeinu Shlomo was that he started Bedika, and when he found one piece, it's not mashma they were petitin. Mashma he just found some Chometz. They were doing Bedika, they found Chometz. And as soon as he found that first piece, then he made a bracha of Al Bir Chometz. What?
Over the sales.
Okay, he's not looking for it anymore.
He's not looking for that piece. That's
also on the beer. He's going to
yeah, he's not finished. The first piece.
It's on the beer.
I don't know what Rashi. That doesn't say over there. How Rashi touched the bracha. So Al Kapanim, that's what Rashi says. That he didn't make a bracha until he found the first piece, and once he found the first piece, he made a bir chametz, and he was mamshech his bedika, found more pieces or didn't find more pieces. That sheet is Rashi, and the Shibbolei Leket has whole arichas over there, back and forth. In the Rishonim, he brings the sheetas of the other Rishonim that held that it's not necessary to miniach petitin, and that you're yotzei with the bedika alein. And this is some of the Rishonim are very stark about this. Maram Chalava and Daf Zayin says it's minig noshim. To put petitim is mamish a joke, and that's also Rabbeinu Menoach on the Rambam in Chometz Matzah Gimel Vav brings b'shem Chuvas Ravid that to be meniach Chometz babayis l'fnei bedika is minig noshim be'en lo shorish. Usually is minig noshim because they're the ones who put out the pieces. That's for a different reason. That's not what the Ravid meant. The Ravid meant things a joke and it's amaratzos. And Rabbeinu Menoach is very stark. He says v'zeh hanochon that the Ravid is about 100% correct. Shalom mevarchen al metzias Chometz. There's no bracha that it doesn't mean the nusach. That's not the inyan. We're not trying to find chametz. It's not we're being mevarach. I'm going to make a bracha asher kedishonu to go find chametz. So if you don't find chametz, a bracha latol. If that's what you're being mevarach on, like I'm making a bracha to find chametz. Ella bedikas habayis v'zel l'shoni. Ella al bedikas habayis uleva'arei michametz. The kivit shabbat go harei zekim mitzvah. So it's not a joke to put up pieces of chametz when you're just trying to. That's good for the thing to check. That's good for the mitzvah. The takana to check. So l'chayra there's makom loymar that Rashi could be l'shitasin. And like you're pointing out, al bir chametz. You know, there's a question. The Taz Ben says fakir. Taz is against the minig of putting petitin. First of all, I think bismanenu, as far as I understand, everyone puts petitin. Is there anyone in this room who doesn't put petitin? Arizal. I mean, for some people, that's not the it's the Ramal, it's the Arizal. Depends who you. Well, no, 1 second. It's over the Goyim because the Goyim was not into it. Do they do it today? They don't do it. Adiyam is it. Okay, there you go. Because Sternbach was very stark on Minig HaGra, so in Chuvas Hanagas and conscious, so he originally didn't do it for Minig HaGra, and then he held him as Manenu, since we cleaned so stark, he got scared, he started being Minig. Okay, Minig HaGra. Don't make a bracha, I guess that's another answer. Let's make a bracha. So if you have an ace to make a bracha, you kind of mitzvah. Okay, we'll get back to that issue of the clean house. Fine. Now, so it could be like this.
Can you make a bracha?
What is the taich? What's that?
Can you make a bracha?
Oh, so that's a shayla on the place. The Shabur brings a machlokes. Let's say you forgot to make a bracha on the Bedikas and you're going to burn. You make a bracha by day. So the Taz himself is against the minig of putting out bread. And he says, what's the big deal you don't find pieces? Hare, bir chametz means bir chametz. You're going to burn the chametz tomorrow. So Avada, he says, don't put out pieces. You put out pieces, you're going to start losing them. Ad kedei kach, the Zera Emes had to write a tshuva that when you put out, and the Shai Tshuva brings in Tafel Beis, when you put out pieces of chametz, make sure it's less than a kazayis. That way, if you lose, you're not going to be over by your up. It's a bell. It's up to Taz. Forget it. What's the problem? You have al bir chametz. Now, I don't understand. The Taz says, don't worry about it. Don't put out petitin because anyway you have bir chametz tomorrow. But if I don't find any chametz, I have nothing to burn. Vice is the Taz held for davar pasha, which is there. But there are mitzias. You know, Erev Pesach by morning. Yeah, breakfast. Very good. You had breakfast in the morning. You can go buy a bagel in the morning and let's have some. So that's what the Taz was assuming, which is an assumption that I don't think all the Rishonim have.
The Rishonim say that to do the second bittul because you're going to buy some chametz in the morning.
Yeah, you're going to rishtam shel chametz in the morning, right? So the Taz says it's going on that. Meaning, the Taz understood that al bir chametz means al bir chametz. I think as we all assume, taiches bir miloshin havara, miloshin destruction, destroying, burning. So, and like the Rosh says in Simin, that's like the Pashvat. The Rosh says, what are bir chametz? On Bedikas chametz making bir chametz says this is the beginning. So it's bir chametz. So meaning like this, that Lafi Rashi, there's no special. There was never any. If we go al derech around, there was never any special takana derabanan. The Rabbanan said make a bedika, the special takana of bedika. It's just a problem with bayira, and bayira means that if you have chametz, even any yedua, you're going to be over on a nisser. You're going to be over on bayira. So you have to take care of that. How do you do that? There's no pasuk, there's no lachol mushmi sinai be'etzim to do a bedika. We just use logic. If chametz in a yedua is going to be, you're going to be over nisser. So it's just like if you eat a piece of lettuce that has toilayim she'enim yuduim, or someone's boil anida that's anida she'enim yedua. But as long as you know that it could be there, and there's a reglaim adavar because the makom shem chamisa b'chametz, like the Mishnah says, so you have to take care of that issa deraisa. How? By doing a bedika. But Lefi Rashi, it's all, and fakir, Lefi the Ran, it might even be a kiyum mitzvah tashbisu if you're doing the bedika by itself. We do the bedika with the bittul. So al kopadim, it sounds like al derech the Taz, but we could say fakir from the Taz. The Taz said this is the reason you don't have to leave bread, because he's assuming that there was going to for sure be some chametz yedua. But if we don't make that assumption, the person's not necessarily going to have bread for tomorrow, so then you can understand that Lefi Rashi, if you're going to now make a bracha al bir chametz, And what we're doing is now you're going into the sugya of taking care of not having Bali Rabbi Motzi. In order to not have Bali Rabbi Motzi, you have to have beer. What is that, Lefi Rashi? That is on Chometz Sheni Yadua. You have to find it, get rid of it, burn it, be matzniya it after you find it, and then b'shal chamishis you burn it. So that tahalich is what we're starting and being mevarech on the beer chametz, not on the specific bedika, because again bedika is just a shlav in how we figured out and Chazal figured out. How do we take care of Bal Yeroya? So let's see, Chometz Sheni Yadua. What are you going to do about Chometz Sheni Yadua? You're going to do bedika. Then you're going to find it. Be matzniya, be mevatel, burn it. Maril says the bracha is going on the bittul. Right after we do bedika, we do bittul. So the beer chametz is that whole talich, as we'll see. The Gaon says it first. So memela, then you could hear already. Forget if you don't have this assumption of the Taz that you're going to eat breakfast in the morning and have some challah and bread for breakfast. So then you might have a chash b'achal v'atala. Says Rashi, make sure there's some bread around. So you can't just make a bracha al beer chametz and then do bedika. Doing bedika by itself, if Rashi. It's just like, let's say a person who knows the whole year, he, chveis, it's not so common, bismanenu, but 2,000, 3,000 years ago, a guy lives in a place, and they don't have chametz, he lives on corn the whole year. So, he's no chametz nimtza in his whole town. So, Erev Pesach, he should make a bracha, al beer chametz, there's no chametz around. So maybe that's a makom shein machnisin. So what are you making al beer? There's no beer. You're just not going to have chametz. You're not going to have chametz the same way he doesn't have chametz in Tevis, Shad, Adar, Nisan, Yer, Sivan, Tam, Zav. There's no chametz around. So Lefi Rashi, that's all you're doing. You're getting yourself into a position that you make sure you're not going to be over by your Alai Matzeh. Al Zeh, there's no bracha. Bracha's on Tashbisu. What?
Even though you might be being the kind of
Might is not enough. Al Bir Chametz means that you're vadik.
Tashbisu, according to the Ran, when Rashi is...
Again, so I'm just saying, you're right. If you don't do bittul, even though the Bedika Alain is a kiyum, but Dr. Rashi, to make the bracha of Al Bir Chametz, yeah, meaning, because that's what I'm saying. Hagam, I'm not sure if Rashi's masking B'chal that the Bedikas is a kiyum of Tashbisu. That's the Ran is Muvur. What I'm saying is it's a zoivi, some without any chametz, some Dr. Rashi, you have to have something that is called beer chametz, kipshuta, that you're going to take it, be matzniya it, be mevatel it, tomorrow throw it in the fire. But kol zel chayr lefi shitas Rashi udime. Mashen ken lefi Tosfos. So the pshat is like this. Bedika has nothing to do with Ba'yira. It has nothing to do with Tashbisu. It's just pashat a bezunderich shash derabanu. Chazal were very scared that you're going to eat chametz. You can do everything you're supposed to do in a Torah. Bittul, Tashbisu, Sreifa, alt. But we're pashat scared that you're human, you're going to open the cabinet, you're going to see a cookie on Pesach, you're going to pashat eat it. So Chazal made a special takana. So, Fizeh, that's like the Shmuel Leket himself is masber over there. I'm sorry, the Rabbeinu Menoich. The Rabbeinu Menoich was very stark that stam the whole thing is a minik mashim to put bread before Bedika, and he says that the choiv is not a Metzias chametz but on Bedikas abayis. Is up there. That's the lashon of al beer chametz. It's nothing to do with beer and sreifa. So up there the lashon of beer chametz Rabbeinu Menoich lashon hashbasas bedika upinui min habayis kemoi biarti hakodesh min habayis shemashmo upinui min habayis ulashlichu b'yam boel. The pshat is, it's a bezunder takonas chazal to check your house, to make sure your house is clean of chametz. Pashat, so you shouldn't come to eat chametz on Pesach. A new isser, because of loy bedili mineh, because it's a special chaymer. So umamelu afizeh, if titachen, then you can understand much better this tzad, that his mamish makes no sense to put chametz. You should put chametz around, so you should find it, so what? So you have something to mevatel, something to burn. Why on bittul, on burning chametz, there is no takonas bracha? Good question. That's a question that we shouldn't deal with. But what I'm saying is, Lamaisa, this is a bracha on Bedikas chametz. It's Zok Taisis, you're making a bracha, Biyarti HaKodesh Min Habayis. Take care of this house, that this house shouldn't be a place where there's a chashash that you Shem Yavel La'achla. So what do you need to put bread around your house for that reason? Zok Taz, you're just going to lose the bread and you make yourself more tzaros. The whole inyan is that Gzeir Midrabanan. So since it has nothing to do with destroying chametz, not etzem taich Zok Tebeinim Enough, nothing to do with beer. It's not beer. It's Biyarti HaKodesh Min Habayis. It's Pinui Habayis, Bedikas Habayis. So Meilu Shitaso L'chayr would make sense that there's no chiyuv and no inyan b'chal to put the piece of bread. Now, l'maisa, how do we paskin like Rashi or like Dershowitz? It's not 100% clear. L'maisa, Dershowitz himself is toiling his machlokes with Rashi on dafyod l'gabe the din of bedika la'achar Pesach. L'gabe that din at least we do paskin like Dershowitz. So it seems like certainly choishish, certainly machmer for the tzad that is chashash shem b'yoichal, as we'll see l'gabe other dinim. So it would make sense then l'shitas Dershowitz that it wouldn't be zok Ramah. You should do it. It's not ma'akiv. And again, we'll see Vizmanenu, the Sharatzin says Vizmanenu, it's worse because our houses are cleaner, basically. The din of, if you didn't do Bedika, you have to do Bedika La'achar Pesach, Tosfos says that's only Shitasi, it's a Shem Yochel. You might eat Chametz. Mashiach Levi Rashi, it's not again. Rashi Taka doesn't hold that Bedika, he has a different shot. We pass him there like Tosfos, or at least Machmer like Tosfos. That's clear. Many times we'll see in the poskim the Chashash of Shem. What's that?
You're going to do beer tomorrow. This halacha is that he's going to have breakfast in the morning.
Yeah. I kind of read.
Without that, you have a
Yeah, of course, right. Which again, it's not a shver assumption because l'maisa it's still zman heter chometz. But right, what I'm saying is it's not a kasha on Rashi that even if Rashi held also that the beer chometz means the beer from tomorrow and the beer from the actual burning that you're going to do tomorrow by shach hamishis, it's not sure that Rashi would say fine. So make sure you have chometz around. What does that mean? It means Zok Rashi, I don't know what's going to be for breakfast. I don't know. There's no chiyuv to eat breakfast in the morning. There's a chiyuv right now to make sure that you're starting talich of beer chometz. So you should have some chometz benimtza, and then you can make a bracha about beer chometz.
So if you Rashi, why is there a minute niach p'titin? Just save one big piece for tomorrow. So you get out of the problem.
So the emes is, it's very interesting. I'm saying that this shita is lefi darker shel Rashi. The emes is the way the Shmuel like it brings Rashi. He didn't say anachas p'titin. He just did a bedikin. He wouldn't make a bracha until he found one piece. So in a chanami. That's what I'm in. You know the goyin, yeah, in a chanam. The goyin he has a different pshat in this machlokes. The goyin says, what's the machlokes? There's a machlokes whether or not you could make a bracha without putting bread. So the goyin seems to assume, like kifi dark, what we're saying kifi darker shal Rashi, that the pshat is al tomorrow's beer. You might not find anything. So the goyin makes a tali in like this global shayla of making brachas when the thing might not be miskayim, like legabe birchas hamapil and birchas hashena b'sukkah. That you're going to sleep, how can you make a bracha? You might not fall asleep. You're going to sleep in the circle, you might not fall asleep, so how can you make a bracha? So that's my chaluk Rishonim. The Goin says maybe it's telling that. So you had a different havana. I'm just saying, the feed darko shal Rashi, we can understand that you have to have some kind of chametz, and then in a chanami we have to work out why dafka petitin.
It's not saying that
the 10 pieces is not the Rishonim, that's just their result. So how many pieces did they put? So we'll see. Ever since the Trumas Hadeshin is mashma, they just put 1 or 2, 2 or 3.
the guy is
Says
not
3,
saying
4,
that
but makes it
it's
just
just the Bedikas. But the guy is not saying that you just do it. Not on that process. He's saying
The Goin la halacha holds you don't need to put. He's toilet the 2 shitas. The Goin thinks. What I'm saying is the Goin doesn't have any tzad that the brach of beer is biyate kodesh min havayis. That it's alts the etzem bedika. He doesn't have such a tzad. He's clear it's alts the beer. What's the problem? You might not find. Say it is when you make hamapel, you might not go to sleep. We assume darker shaloyim that you'll find. That's it. Okay.
She coins you as Tosfos, and then coins the shirt and see it. Like the cleaner house is always going to be different.
Well, that's a different story because if your house is boduk, then maybe I'll just say it in the sprach, even though I think this is a little bit the inaccurate sprach, it's the easier sprach to understand. It's like a makom shem machnis b'chometz. You have no cheves bedika. Who adim, let's say someone did a bedika lo yud gimel. That's what we're going to get to right now in the Mishnah. Let's say he did lo yud gimel, so then lo yud aleph, his house is boduk. So just pashat b'farn is the chiyuv. So then you're done. You can't. It's like you don't have a house that has to be boduk.
But even those who say that once if you break before you dalit, you don't have to do it again.
You don't have to do it again.
Yeah, like the Pichadash. But he only says if you did it l'shem bedika, my wife can clean the house stark and it won't be l'shem bedika.
So let's. Is there enough kamina what l'shem? Now Pesach cleaning might be called l'shem bedika, but let's get into this point right now. One second.
The guy with Rashi that you're doing Bedikas in order not to be over by your you're saying it can't be that he's holding the Bedikas of George maybe
It could be. The taich could have been. It seems like B'yata Kodesh Ben Abayis seems like the Chiddush. Meaning that some Rishonim were faced with, what does this have to do with bread? There's no bread. This is a Chiyuv Bedika. So they taich the bracha al the Chiyuv Bedika. So I understand that Shita better. Bedika is a pure Chiyuv Bedika. It's like you're stuck. Well, beer? What's beer? B'yata Kodesh Ben Abayis. The whole thing is coming Mishurish by your own. It's like we're Geshmak that Pashim Shat. Like many Acharonim say, that beer means beer, because that's the Pashim Shat told me last about your own beer.
So according to the graph, you can tackle which
No, the Goin holds. If you make a bracha of a map, you don't fall asleep. What's it in?
Yeah, but
Seder
here I'm doing a ma'aser beforehand to make sure that it's so clean.
Okay, let's get to the cleaning. That's a different. The Goin's not talking about the clean house. Let's get to the clean house now. So Azov. So up to Mishnah Berurah. Reish Simin Tov Lamed Gimel. Some of the most famous words in the whole Shas. Or lar basar baikin as a chametz lahar ner. Says Mishnah Berurah lav dafka. Doesn't have to be lo yadalit. You can do it different times also. So Mishnah Berurah discusses the whole inyan of this takon is to get rid of your chametz. So why does it have to be lo yadalit? So what happens if you do it before and yom yud gimel, lel yud gimel? So Mishnah Berurah brings all the different shitas from achronim, a lot of different achronim, and what's his maskana is as like yom yud gimel, you're not yotzei. Did it by day, do it again by night, but don't make a bracha because the goyin at the end of the siman, Taka has a Yushalmi that even by day you're yotzei b'di'evet. brings quotes from Yerushalmi. And there the question is whether Or Haner, Yafal the Bedika, the Sfar the Gemara says from Daf Daled, is that a Sfar that's Ma'akev, not Ma'akev, meaning like Rashi says, and some Rishonim learn that it's not Pshat, that the Gemara says two Sfaras, that people are Matzoi at night and the Or Haner, Yafal Bedika. So the Goyin understands from Yerushalmi that whether or not the light is better by day, that's certainly that Tosefes Oyer that you're going to get, by night, it's not Ma'akev, and if you check Or Haner and you Gimel your Yetzis. The Mishnah says that's just the Goyin, so you should have to check again, but without a bracha in deference to the Goyin. But if you checked on Lel Yud Gimel, says the Mishnah Berurah, that's Peseder. You're Yetzit. Now, the Mishnah Berurah himself is Mashmas B'di'evet, and in Shartzin he quotes a whole big Rishima of Achreinim, Neged, Bach, Levush, Taz. He has a whole Rishima of Achreinim Ein Sham, Uberoisham, the Goyin, the Pri Chodosh, Kol Chaim, Chok Yankiv, Gdolei Achreinim. So the Mishnah Berurah says, by the way, in Shartzin he goes to invite them. And he says the emphasis is, according to many of these Achreinim, namely the Pri Chodosh, Goyin, and Chok Yankiv, you could even do L'chatchila. You could do Bedikas, Chometz, L'chatchila, or Liyad Gimel. Or Liyad Al B'Yis Chazman there. No later. That's what you have to put into the Mishnah. No later than Arli Yudalid Baikin as comes line there. But if you do Arli Yud Gimel, in which case you get the Maila of people are Matzah in their houses, you get the Maila of Araner Yafla Bedika, so why not be Makim? You can be Makim with Chachil. Says the Mishnah Berurah, the only problem I have with that is that you're going to be losing the bracha. Meaning, let's assume you do the entire Bedika. The Mishnah Berurah Paskin is amazing. You do a Bedika, Lel Yud Gimel, person gets mixed up on the date, he does the Bedika, comes, Lel Yudalid, Gans Kali Sil is doing Bedika, he doesn't have to do anything. It's fine. So if you want to be machmir, it's not machmir. If you want to be a machmir, so you should go do a bedika, but li bracha, because maker din your yotze. Says Sharatzin, you can even do l'chatchila. There's one little problem, the bracha. What's the problem with the bracha? So it's out there. We pass in sim taf lamed vav. There are certain time where l'chatchila you do bedika before lal yidal. That's a yotze b'shar. That's the next sim we're going to learn. Sim taf lamed vav. A person has to leave his house 30 days before, within 30 days. Different ifanim. A person does bedika. Says the Ramah in taf lamed vav, no bracha. So emes is that's big machlokes achreinim. The halacha there brings pri chodesh bach. They hold you do make a bracha. Let's assume halacha l'mais like the Ramah, you don't make a bracha. So says the Shartzi, and now we have a problem. So you're going to do bedika lal yud gimel. You're not going to make a bracha. So you did a mitzvah without a bracha. It says the Shartzi and Aram lo yisraim. We know there's a halacha that when Chazal is attacking a bracha, you're not let us do a mitzvah without a bracha. And that's why a person who's Aram, the kind of mitzvah of Rosh Hashanah Maisis Kedabayu Charay, there's no problem with his mitzvah. He can't make a bracha, so it's asur. So how could he be over in that isser of being Torah? And that's what he brings, that there's a pickbook of the Chok Yosef. The Chok Yosef is the fakvik that some Achreinim say, no problem, do your Gimel also. L'chatchila, as long as you chap all the timing of Ar Haner Yafal Bedika, people Matzid B'Matem, that's fine. The problem is the bracha. So Memela, that's the only problem. Fizeh, this is a little bit mavur from the Mishnah Berurah Alein at the end of the simon. He brings Trumas Hadeshan, and that's what many places can say is manenu, that people are under the impression for some reason, which we'll discuss hopefully in a minute, that we can no longer do what Jews have been doing for all the hundreds and thousands of years of doing regular b'dikas chametz arili dal. It's too difficult. Our houses, it's too much, it's too hard. So Memela, this eitzah is given that you can mamish chab everything. The Mishnah Berurah says the only problem is the bracha, so we have no problem. You have 10 rooms in your house. Do 9 rooms, Lel Yud, Lel Yud Aleph, Lel Yud Beis, Lel Yud Gimel, Lel Yud Dal, you have 1 room left, and then you're going to make a bracha, because you have a Chiv Bedikas Chametz, and Lel Yud Dal, you make a bracha. So you make your bracha, and that way, it's reasonable, it's not too hard, and that's the eitzah.
You should not make a bracha, I thought it's only if you have a Chiv to make a bracha, you don't make a bracha, you do the mitzvah of the
Very nice. Beautiful. I think what you're saying is 100% correct. There's makom la'ayim b'zeh, but I think the Neil's pointing out that yesh l'chalik, between Aram and Yisrael. What's the din of Aram Yisrael? Aram Yisrael is the pshat that you're supposed to make a bracha now, but if he takes off his clothing, he can't make a bracha. So Chazal say, put on your clothing, make a bracha. Mashenkin over here, suggesting that if there's a din, you could be yotzei chiv bedika on Yud Gimel because you have all the time in, because it's Ar Haner, Mitzuyin. So Chazal weren't attacking a bracha. Why not? Maybe they should have been. The emes is some achreinim think they weren't attacking a bracha. That's the Pri Chodesh and the Bach. But if we assume like the Ramah, they weren't attacking a bedika, attacking a bracha, and we'll have to see what. We'll see that they're going in the grass. But the male not making mevatel bracha. I'm doing a mitzvah. Chazal, let me do the mitzvah now. I can be in the mitzvah. Great. Chazal, I'd love to make a bracha. I'm wearing my clothing. I can make a bracha. Just there's no bracha to be made. Because Chazal said you don't make a bracha below Yud Gimel. So that's not a bit of bracha b'chlal. And that's the chayr mavur in the Kadmonim. The Trumas Hadeshin himself dealt with this very shaila. He said, there's a minhag, I see people clean their houses, a few days before. Well, Bedikas Chometz, they put out 2 or 3 pieces, they look around for 5 minutes, they find the 3 pieces, and they stop. So the Chometz says it's a terrible thing, because what? So you're getting those 3 pieces of Chometz from those rooms. Maybe you did a Bedika to find those 3 in those 3 rooms. The rest of your house, what do? You did a kibbutz beforehand, it's a problem. So he says why, and the Chometz introduces us to the Yerushalmi. It's really the Mordechai already, that you can't be machalik bin Bedika lebedika. So Memela, you can't do this thing that you're not doing Bedika al Yadalit. Says Chometz. Wait a second, maybe it's not so bad. I'm doing the Bedika al Yadalit, right? I just cleaned 7. I cleaned my house beforehand, but then I left some pieces out and I did a Bedika al Yadalit. So what's the big deal? Lo l'chalik. Shouldn't be machalik be different. I'm not being different than everyone. I'm doing my Bedika. So Chometz says I have a different problem that. Sweeping your house is not a good bedika because that leaves holes, that leaves gumos, like the goyin is ma'arich at the end of the siman. That stam sweeping doesn't take care of all the problems of chayin stuck. So you see l'char from Chometz Hadeshin, they had a problem of loy l'chalik bein bedika lebedika. You can't do the entire bedika before lo yadal. It seems that he had a problem of that stam sweeping your house is not a good way of cleaning it. But without these problems, l'char mavur the Chometz Hadeshin, he had no problem with the fact that you're doing half your bedika. Or even all of your bedika without a bracha. There was no issue of the bracha. And then it says the Graz himself is one of the achronim that makes this chesed. That if you do bedika on the other nights, it's okay, just leave 1 room over for Lel Yadalit, so you shouldn't be mevatel the bracha b'yadayim. So l'char mavur in the Graz, there's no problem of Aram lo Yisraim. Because if there would be a problem of Aram lo Yisraim,
What?
Aram lo Yisraim, this din that you're not allowed to do a mitzvah without a bracha, obviously it doesn't apply here. Why not? Because if it wouldn't help to leave over 1 room. Leaving over 1 room helps you chap the bracha, but it doesn't help the fact that you did a lot of mitzvah without bracha. Aram lo Yisraim is not allowed to go be Torah 9 out of 10 of his piles, put on clothing, and then make a bracha on the 10th one. He was over an Isser for doing the first 9 without his clothing and not making a bracha. You're not allowed to make a bracha. You're not allowed to do a mitzvah without a bracha. So you see from the Graz, like Rabbi Daniel is saying, is that here there's no bracha to be made. So the Graz is just saying, but chach, leave over 1 room. There shouldn't be a bittul. You're not oiker the bracha b'yadayim. That sounds like an Indian ba'alma, not mamish iser and not a chiyuv.
Is there also maybe if you started being a little and then the shouldn't be a bracha?
Maybe since there, that's just one mitzvah.
No, but you chap it the mafresh.
Because you have a chapa.
Take care of it. Here's not my favorite.
Here, no.
By lulav.
But I'm saying no.
How long?
I mean, even if it wasn't mufka, what is mufka? Even if it wasn't mufka, the shita is that you could make a bracha on the rooms that you are doing today, since you're going to end up making a bracha later.
No, but you did what do you mean? 2 nights ago. Yeah, it's a whole different situation.
So I can't throw out any comments starting from when that I'm the mafkiya from a bracha.
I live kid from bracha.
So at what point do we start saying it's a bedika? If I start cleaning my house, anything I do is earning this sort of room. What?
I don't understand what you mean.
If I clean my whole house except for stuff, I would be okay.
Again, he's saying Lafi the Mishnah Berurah. Lafi the Mishnah Berurah that he seems to invoke the. I think the Mishnah Berurah himself also was just quoting it as my
that you have to make a bracha.
What?
The Mishnah Berurah is the shittas that say you're mechuyev to make a bracha. It says the shittas you have to make a bracha. So
maybe that's why it's a little bit of an arm Yisrael.
Yeah.
Okay, right, that's that. Hagam that he's machri over there, not make makes suffix each tray.
Even if you have to make a bracha, it shouldn't be a problem because it's like it's a mitzvah nimsheches. You didn't finish your bedika yet. So even though you didn't make a bracha on what you did before. But the mitzvah is nimshach. You didn't finish your bedika. It's like someone.
Yeah, but the bracha, your mitzvah is nimshach, but the bracha is not nimshach.
No, it's like someone started the bedika and then he didn't make a bracha. You can make a bracha before he finishes the bedika.
Maybe even after he finishes the bedika.
He's over an isra on the bedika that he did before.
So first of all, Milach Hatchila, I think yes, he was over an isra with b'shoigeg. But once it's one ma'isa bedika, then there's a alumnus that the bracha on this ma'isa, even if you shtup it in the middle, it goes on the whole thing. But not 2 days. It doesn't go back to Mafreya 2 days. There's hesach hadas. It's the hilchos brachas.
Maybe it's like sukkah. You go around
Seder by sukkah we have a din yeshiva sukkah. It's not to the achila.
No, the whole problem is overly asiyah. Because in a few days, it's a problem. It's like
I don't think a few days, even like for 10 minutes.
What's your 30 days? 30 days to do bedika.
Oh, the bracha is not chal on that bedika because your masiach das finished.
Could it be the reason they weren't misafir bracha according to the
1 second.
Even according to the guy that you give you a chiyuv the thing, but since there's no chiyuv on the bracha. And according to the guy,
So exactly. 1 second.
Is it because of the wolf?
1 second. Right. Let's exactly. So l'chayr that which at least it's mashma in the Shabura that's a problem of Arba Yisrael. The Mishnah himself says Choykesif is mafakfik, it's not mamish an iser. Maybe he's been choyshish tak to those shitas. There might be a chiyuv bracha, Al Kapanim, that seems from the Trumas Hadeshin not to be the problem. No problem with bracha. There's no takana to make a bracha. Why is there no takana to make a bracha? Lafidar Rambam. That's how we pass it. So why not making a bracha on Leil Yud Gimel?
They want it like the chalik. It doesn't make sense that they would be mislaking a bracha. They don't want one guy doing it 3
No,
days.
but we're assuming now Lafidar Shita is that you're Lafidar going, you're allowed Chatchila, the Mishnah Berurah says, you're allowed Chatchila do it. So you're allowed to do it, so make a bracha.
What about
If you want-
Srisol?
What about Srisol? Let's leave Srisol.
There's one mitzvah, so you have to. You go to
We're gonna leave Srisol.
Trumas Hadeshin. You're saying the guy in the
I'm saying like this: the Goyin, according to the Mishnah Berurah, says you're allowed to
I'm
make a bracha. Why not make a
allowed to
bracha? So the Goyin himself speaks it out. Mamish very clear as of the Gras. The Gras just says like this: the Gras in Taf Lamed Vav says we don't make a bracha. Why don't we make a bracha on Yud Gimel Yud Beis? He says it's not the Iker Zman Takana. That's not the Iker Zman Shehiskinu Chazal. It's Pachi Yeshus Lashon, and that's why you don't make a bracha. So what's the pshat if it's not the Iker Zman? You don't make a bracha. Bizman ha'ikari shetiknu chachamim shehu lel yodal. And the pshat is as like lel yodal is this man that's mutal on every Jew to do bedikas chometz, bedika, and start the process of beer. Before that, if you want to make yourself a house kaviyachal, a house she'im machnisim by chometz, you want to clean out your house. If you want to live in a town that has no chometz and the whole year, you're allowed to do that. But that's not a kiyum of mitzvahs chazal of bedikas chometz. That person who lives in the city that all they eat is corn and there's no chamesh minim in the whole town, so there's no chametz. So he has no chashash shem yavel la'achol. He doesn't have the problem, and the meila he doesn't have the takana to buy the chametz. So al derech zu is until you're dalid, it's not mutal on you to take care of this problem. You're allowed to eat chametz yom v'layim. There's no chashash you're going to eat chametz because you're allowed to eat chametz because it's only your gimel nisan. On your dal nisan, there's low b'dikas chametz. That's when it's already mutal on you. That's the grass. The Goyin says it a step further. The Goyin says that the pshat is like this: that on Lel Yud Gimel, talk to Goyin, you didn't do anything. What are you doing? You're cleaning your house. It's up there beer? There's no beer going on. V'tiknu al beer chametz lefi shemiyad on Lel Yudal dafka lefi shemiyad hu mevatel u'matznias hayadu loy ad shohei va'oz mevaroi va'al esek zeh niskinu habrocha. It's quoting the Rosh better. Mashe'en kein kan sagt the Goyin she'en mevatloi. On Lel Yud Gimel, you're not mevatel b'chametz. V'gam adayin mishtamish b'chametz. So chayra, it's just nacha dogish that on Lel Yud Gimel there's no hascholas habir, meaning like this. It sounds like talking. The Lefi Tosfos, why wouldn't you make a bracha on Lel Yud Gimel? Tosfos just says takanas chazal. You shouldn't come to eat your chametz. So erev Pesach, a few days before you want to clean out your house. That's the mitzvahs. You should come to your love. And the emes is Lanias daiti Lefi Tosfos. It's much more muvan the das ha'achreinim. You could make a bracha on Lel Yud Gimel, Lel Yud Beis, because that's the takanas chazal to clean your house. Make sure you shouldn't come to eat it. Shenking the Goyin, who's being a farish, can really shitasai also, because that's how he learned also by the din of beer, al beer chametz, is that the whole al esek zu niskena habracha. So after going only on Lel Yudalid, are you doing bittul chametz? Are you matznia? Usually on Lel Bedikas chametz, you take the chametz, you wrap it up, and that's it. You're finished with chametz. Okay, in the morning you can eat a little bread, you can find a little chametz to eat, but that's the tchilas esek zeh. They're going to quote from the Rosh. That this asik of taking your chametz, wrapping it up, hiding it, being mevatel it, and then tomorrow morning burning it, it's on that asik. On Yud Gimel, no shaykhs to mitzvahs tashbisa and mitzvahs beer chametz. That's a regular thing. You're being mishtamish b'chametz. That's you going to the store, you're buying chametz, you're selling chametz. It's Yud Gimel, Yud Gimel Nisan. You're allowed to do whatever you want. So this is also the two hadgashos of the Graz and the Gra are these two kivunim. Fi Rashi, it's ganz muvan that before Lel Yudal, what are you being oisik mitzvahs tashbisa before Yudal? You're still buying chametz, eating chametz, you're not being environment, you're not doing anything. And even Lefi Tosfos, that Lefi Tosfos is the bezunder takanish level achloi. So zok the Graz, it's still muvan that there should only be a bracha Lel Yudal because that's the ikras mana takana when it's mutal on every person to worry about it. But in a chanami, Lefi Tosfos, it's more muvan that there should be a tzad to make a bracha even before Lel Yud Gimel. Now, so as but either way, zochinu l'din. That l'maisa there's no takana to make a bracha on Lel Yud Gimel. If there's no takana to make a bracha, there's no bittul a bracha. So imkain, it's mamish kishmak to do zok the sharatzin. It's mamish kishmak to do b'dikas chametz on Lel Yud Beis, Lel Yud Gimel to do it before Lel Yud Daled. And if you want to mamish be a machmer, so leave over one room and then you're okay. And l'chayra yesh l'chayra b'zeh that it's a chiddush gadol to say that there's a musig that lechatchila a person can go make a bedika before Lel Yud Daled to mekayim takanas chazal to take an or haner yafel a bedika and go around the house and start doing pasha bedika as chametz pshutik mashma. And The Yisod goes as obviously the Yerushalmi, which is quoted in Shulchan Aruch in Sifir Aleph, which is the Chumash Hadeshin. That even a Mechabed Chedro b'Yud Gimel b'Nisan, a Mechabed Livdoi ka Chometz u'Lavaroi, the Nizar Shlo Lahach Misham Oid Chometz Afal Piken Tzarich Livdoi K'Lal Yudalid. So in the Poskim it's Mavur, there is a problem of someone who's just sweeping. He didn't do a good Bedika, he's not going to get into the Gumas. But it's Mavur in the Chumash Hadeshin and in Yerushalmi and the Mordechai, that even if you did a Mamish and Emes Bedika, and even if you did it La'ar Haner Kipshuta, that's the Chumash Hadeshin. La'ar Haner in those Lailas, Shaloi L'chalik in Bedika LeBedika, it's not enough. And why is that? Because Chazal's takana was, we want everyone to do it on the same night, on Mel Yudalid. And why? It's very pasha to move on why. Like all takanas Chazal, that there are mashva midoseyim, v'shiureim, that everything should be done biyachad at one time, in one zman by everyone. Why? So there should be people God, and there shouldn't be a chashash mipnei haroyim, that people shouldn't think, oh, he's not doing Bedikas Chometz b'chal. The Mari Weil says, one second, Mari Weil says that the reason we leave petitin is just to remind you to do bittul, because you might forget to do bittul. So that's another very good reason. I would think the Iker Takana, Chazal said, early Yudalid Boikin is a Chametz. Why? So to remember to do bittul. If you don't do bittul, you're in big trouble. And even without these timing, now the Achronim that the Shartzian quotes, they have different rayas from Daf Dal, Daf Tes, and Shom. They have different rayas that maybe you're Yotzei B'di'evid Bedikas Yud Gimel, because the Gemara by Seicher Masker speaks about Bedikas Yud Gimel. The Gemara in Daf Tes and Beis by Shem Agir Chulda speaks about Bedikas Yud Gimel.
Where's the mashma b'diavad?
What's that?
Where's the mashma?
It's not mash. I'm not saying it's not mashma anything. It could be tzlachatchila, but there's no rayas tzlachatchila. So in a chanami, that's just a mishmos that it works. Now, emphasis you could be doicha those rayas. Those rayas could be talking about a yotzi b'shiara. You could be making ukimta, which would be a shtikul ukimta. It wouldn't be a raya, but certainly it's no rayas tzlachatchila. Now, where's the raya kaviyochel that it's not lechatchila? So the Yerushalmi says shaloi l'chalik, and the Mishnah not based or l'arbazar boikim zachametz, meaning the proper time for Bedikas Chometz lechatchila, when time you're supposed to do it is or l'arbazar. So it's a chiddush atzum to say that no, lav dafka really lechatchila could do it before, and we have the tam, we have the Yerushalmi. Even if you do it at night, and or an is yafel bedika, but l'maisa hishmi the same shaloi l'chalik. The Goyin says no, shaloi l'chalik just means they should be doing it l'shem Bedikas Chometz. So that Shittas Hagron, the Pri Chodesh says like that also. But the Pri Chodesh himself points out that's not like the Chumash Hadeshin. It's not like Shulchan Aruch. The pashtus of the Chumash Hadeshin and Shulchan Aruch is Shaloi L'chalik. Shaloi L'chalik means you have to do Bedikas Chometz or l'arbas. So 14. Let's leave over a cheder. So that's a taina. But there's no raya from the Chumash Hadeshin that there's that Ish L'hakal B'dil Chatchila. Why? The Chumash Hadeshin said one very simple thing. He said people were sweeping their houses, putting 3 pieces of chametz, going 5 minutes, getting 3 pieces, not even going into the other rooms at all, on Lel Yudalid. And Zok the Chumash Hadeshin, that is not Beseder. And I'll tell you 2 reasons it's not Beseder. Because sweeping is not a good Bedika. Okay, so I'll do a good Bedika. And I have another reason, Shaloi L'chalik. Says the Chumash Hadeshin, I hear, maybe you'll taina that Shaloi L'chalik, the pshat is, yeah, but I left over 1 room. Zok the Afal Pikin, but you have the sweeping problem. So if you had asked the Chumash Hadeshin, so let's say I would taka do an emes Bedika. No sweeping problem. I would scrub good, and then I would leave over a room. So l'chayv make cheshbon, everything's good. So that's taka. What some say. I'll leave it the. That's what the Sharatzin seems to say. I'll leave it the goyim according to those achronim. I'm just pointing out that it's a chiddush. It's a chiddush that's not the pashtus, not of Shulchan Aruch, not of the Mishnah, not of Shulchan Aruch, not of Chumash Hadeshin. And that's if you look in the Sharatzin there, it's very interesting. The Sharatzin points out that the Bach, the Taz, the Levush. Gedolei Achronim who b'derech klal follow in the pashtus derech of the Torah Beis Yosef without being mechadesh. So they all say, Avadi, you can't make a bedika magin. Now, it's very interesting. The Mishnah Berurah, the Sharatzin leaves out the Magen Avram from his list. The Prima Gadim is medayik that Kain das Magen Avram at the end of the Siman Sifkat and Chav. And the Magen Avram also holds that if you leave over a room, 1 room for Leil Yadalit, you'll yotzi b'di'evet. Says the Prima Gadim is mashma in Magen Avram, not lechatchila. So which means that lechatchila das Shulchan Aruch, Chumash Hadeshin, is like the Pashtus, and that's I have another Shulchan Aruch also, which is the beginning of Siman Taf Lamed Aleph in Hilchos Pesach, where Shulchan Aruch says, just like the Mishnah says, Siman Taf Lamed Aleph, the Tchilas Lel Yudal B'Nisan Boikin Es Chometz L'Arner. You know, not Megillah Nikres Yudal if you're basically Yudal. The Chaver could have said here, the Tchilas Lel Yudal. That's it, just Lel Yudal. Taf Lamed Gimel Achara Bedika. So Memela, whether you're Yotze B'Diavad, maybe we have a raya from Daf Test that you're Yotze B'Diavad. The Bach holds you're not Yotze even B'Diavad. Mashma, even if you leave over a cheder. So Al Kapana, my point is like this.
It makes sense because if it's Chashash Royim, so if someone sees you doing Bedika.
No.
So
So
now
if it's
there's no
chashash,
chashash.
I don't know the chashash. We could be malad 10 different chashashas. Maybe you'll forget to do a bittul. Maybe Hish will be the same b'chol makom. And the raya that
you
it's
won't forget to do
b'diavad,
that.
even if you leave over a cheder, is achsadra. We paskin like the Rambam in Sif Gimel that even if you do your achsadra or ayom, which is mamish, there's no better bedika than that in terms of the eichs of the bedika. Afal begin it's b'diavad shloil chalik. A person doesn't live in an achsadra; he has other rooms. So L'chara Pasha Shulchan Aruch there is also mavur that even if you're just doing one room, but you gimel, that's b'diavad. It's mashma like the Sharatzin is made at the end of the siman that L'chara the Pashta says l'chatchila shloil chalik means your entire bedika should be done on Lal Yudat. And Memela,
They're doing the La'ira and not Lara Ner, so people are going to make a mistake in the halach of Lara
okay,
Ner.
but the Sharatzin already
There
says
you
it's
can
not
apply
Chadra
Shloit
is
a little different.
Okay, but Achsad is different. I don't know if the Chal goes on Achsad or Ner because everyone sees it. Al Kopanim, my point is that this Eitzah that's being said, that since it's too hard to do your Bedika, so don't do Bedika on Lal Yidal. Change the minig and do your Bedika on Lal Yidal if you base your Gimel. So L'chayra, it's Zicher B'diavad, it's negative the Pashtus of the Shulchan Aruch and the Iker Poiskim, Magen Avram, Taz, Levush, Bach, negative the Iker Poiskim to go be Noyik such a Hanab. So what's the Eitzah? We have a big problem. You know, we have to do Bedikas Chometz and we want to do properly Chayim stuff. The Eitzah is Kemefurish in Trumas Hadeshin, Chvoidoi Uba'atzmai. Because cleaning houses, it seems, was not something else invented yesterday. It's an old thing. They always cleaned houses, even in the olden days. So not only did they clean the houses, the Trumas Hadeshin and Shulchan Aruch and the place say you're mechuyev to clean your house. And the Gra says if you don't clean your house, it's going to be very difficult to go to all the Chayim stuff. So clean your house very, very well. When you clean your house very well, that will make it easy that you could do a normal bedika. What does that mean? Like the Shari Tshuva points out at the end of the Siman. If you do cleaning and you tackle clean very properly, so I think this Shari Tshuva is misquoted a little bit. He doesn't mean to do 3 minutes and walk around just take up your 10 petitin that you put out and finish. Because Shulchan Aruch says the bracha latol, you didn't do any bedikas chametz, it's not a joke. What he means, in a chanami, if you clean your house properly, the Goin thinks he has arrived from Chazal for that din, from Marnida. But that's for sure what the Rishonim say. And the Ramah says that you're supposed to clean your house. If you clean your house, so it's not going to take 5 minutes to do bedikas chametz. It's also not going to take 5 hours. It might take an hour. I don't know exactly how long it's take. I guess it depends how big your house is. But the point is to go check in Chayim Stocken Bifrat. I don't know if everyone saw that sugya. That's some Chashamayim B'Koymis. Everyone should look into that. The Midas Ma at least. That if there's no chiyuv to check for tiny small perurim and things that you're looking for little specks, but you're looking for chametz. Even if it's less than a kazayis, more than a kazayis, maybe it's only more than a kazayis, maybe it's less than a kazayis, but a pretzel, something bigger, something chashuv. So try this. You don't have to turn over the whole world and be looking with a magnifying glass. So as long as you clean your house well, then you have to go check in all the koymitz shemechnisim b'chametz. That's the sugya of sif dal to sif yud. We have to be ma'ayin in that very good to see exactly what those koymitz mechnisim. But even if you have kids in your house and you have to mama check everywhere, but the mice to check every place in your house. It is if you cleaned it properly and you're not looking with a magnifying glass, so it'll take some time, but you can go to each makom and check. With Ar Haner, Ketakanas Chazal, Shloy Lechalik, Me'ekar Adin, Lechatchila. And B'yoytze Bazeh, Chayvas Bedikas Chametz.
If there was any pretzels, you would have found them already. So maybe
Well, by the Bidika, oh. So says the Sharatzin, famously at the end of Taflam Beis, is Manenu, that's exact same, we clean mamish so stark that you have to put Asar Petit in Medina. Maybe. It seems like Me'ikar Din, even the Sharatzin didn't mean to say it's Mamish Me'ikar Din. And the reason is very simple, because I think in the normal average house, Hagan that you cleaned from 3 weeks before, L'maisa you're still eating. So some people are more makbid, some people are more yakish, less yakish. But L'maisa, most people have a little corner, and most people's kids are still eating the begelach in cheder, and you're trying to empty out the tick before they come in the house and empty out the pockets. But you can tell from how much screaming there is from the week before Pesach, how this is not such a pashut eitz. It doesn't go so glad because everyone, get the chametz out of here and this, and you're dragging with your feet and you're dragging with this. And so I think in the normal house, it's m'oid yitachin that you open up a tick, love b'dikas chametz, you'll find a big fat sandwich, and you'll look on the couch on pashut, you'll look under the couch and you see the kid through. They're makbid gumber. It's not perfect. I don't know. Maybe it's telling each house. I don't know.
That I did not put out.
So put your petitin. I have no problem with putting the petitin. The petitin could be put, and it's a nice thing to do.
Wouldn't it be better to leave a place that's not bothered at all?
No. I think if you do that, you're being over. Connected divrei hachumas deshem haramon. The Ramah says not to do that. The Ramah says clean your house before Pesach. So some say only from dirt, not from chametz. No, not dish. Clean your house properly means get rid of the chametz, get rid of everything. Get your house basically ready. Now, by its very nature, it's not going to be hermetically sealed. Your house, And even if you plan on hermetically sealing it, Lavush points this out. This is why Lavush holds nothing. You're not yotze b'diavad not until you're dad. Why? It's okay. It's not a tight inchy. You're the Gimel people still eating chametz because when you went to the pizza store and you went out for dinner to eat pizza and you put those French fries in your pocket, maybe French fries are not chametz, maybe they are, I don't know. But you put that little half a piece of pizza that you want to feed your kid in your pocket and you forget about it. It's still olol, much more olol. You can find to come to chametz house. Now you want to put the petite in, that's fine. Just it shouldn't be yatzas schar of seder that you're just looking for the petite. Now.
If you did a room though, why you Megareya?
What?
He did such a good Bedika anyway. So like,
why is it Megareya?
Yeah, why is it Megareya? Anyway,
First of all, you know, cleaning the rooms, the way we clean the rooms, if there's really chametz there, it makes chametz flying everywhere. It's all to be mispashet. And I understand why we just can't do the pashas dharma. Clean your house. It's not going to be perfect. If your chosh is perfect, you can put asar petitin. And then do bedikas chametz. Everyone puts petitin anyway. Okay, maybe not next, but lamaisa, it's not perfect. Again, don't do a bedika la'ar haner. Don't go Yud Aleph with the flashlight in the room. If you don't do that, it means you clean generally good. When you clean the room for Pesach on Yud Beis, my point is, it means, you know, if a kid will say, I'll be very careful to make my sandwich in the room after I cleaned it, stop, you say, yeah, you could eat it. Be very careful to wrap it up and throw it out. You trust him, he's a 12-year-old, he's a 15-year-old. But it could be a crumb will fall, it could be a pretzel will fall on the floor. Like, this is exactly what Lavush is saying. This is what the Go'inus, the godless Chazar, or La'ar Ba'asar, Boikin, as it comes to there. They knew, only Yadal. Because before you give one, it's very old, you're going to find some more stuff in there. I'm not going as far as what they say with Shem Rishon Mazal, which is in Tzarachin, to go around and ask, did you clean here, did you clean here? What does that have to do with Bedika? It's not Bedika. Why don't you just do the Bedika, like Chazal said? But it's making sure it's not Chipah, it's not Bedika. Bedika, La'ar Haner. So you can maybe put the nair in your wife's face and say, did you check in the thing? La'ar Haner means you open up the closet, you look. No chametz, take about a minute. Now, the one place where maybe it's difficult in the kitchen. So in the kitchen, what are you going to start doing? Because Maisa, we're choishish, we want to check even for a little bagel, we want to check in every area now. In the kitchen, I think there's more welcome to say what maybe Zach is describing, and that is that in the kitchen, we're so makbid, because that's the place of the food. And that Vasher brings in one of his shtiklach in Pesach from the Ravon, that you have to be more makbid. We'll see, this is telling the sugya of Perun. Do you have to check the Perun, not Perun? In the Makam Achila, you have to be very, very, very careful. So we clean the kitchen, mamish, blast it until there's mamish not a speck around. So I think there is Makam to say that, and I think most people don't go Vel Bedikas Chometz into their Pesach kitchen and oven and pantry with the iron wall. So there I think there is Taka Makam to say, like the Eshal Avram says in Tafla Medalet. The Ramah says when you clean your pockets, you have to check your pockets. So some place can say you stick a candle into your pants pocket. And then the result is whatever you can imagine it might be. So says the Muchacher in Tafel Adal, that's not B'signin B'dika. Pockets, you put your hand in, you flip it inside out, you clean it. So who I did in the kitchen, you have two svars. First of all, you do it b'mishush, you're scrubbing and cleaning it mamish, and also l'maisa this tamashayla. Achsadru la'ar haner Bedikas means when you have oyer rav, we pass it's not a loy plug. So if you have oyer rav, they were talking about from the sun, but a person who's cleaning their kitchen with big bright lights on, and they're scrubbing, much more than you scrub the pockets than your kids' pants. There's makom to say that that's achsadu lo'er nefdekas, and that it's not b'signon bedika, like the Josh says, the emsa chatzar, you put that you don't have to be boidig emsa chatzar because the animals eat everything up. And there's zicher, it's umdinu demuchach. There's not one speck of chametz there. So then I think so yesh oimrim, go with the ner yud aleph, yud beis and yud gimel when you turn over your fridge, and go with the candle. So I think it's a little bit of I don't know if it's mamish a joke. I could hear it. It's makom lach because even mekayim at least the bedika are never. I don't think it's necessary. I think if you do the normal bedika but called beisai, so that's the regular bedika of bedika orli yadal b'gan chametz, and the places where mamish menaker ad ein soif that there's not one speck, and there you're mamish makbid, no one comes in there anything in the kitchen once you clean it. No one's coming in mamish with one bagel. So b'chiyai gav and you could say that it was already done b'misha shadayim and achsad.
Are they over on that? The kids didn't check it so perfect. They don't know the flash.
What?